What's up, my ninjas? I am Strident, and I'm back with another quick review. This one is of the DC Collectibles Arkham City Azreal. Now, this figure's strange because it feels like they copped out, and I'll go into detail as to why I feel like this, but I can't help it because, you know, there's some basic things that I kind of expect out of an action figure release, and especially from DC Collectibles, and they did not deliver, so I have to point these things out. And I'm going to start with the most obvious, and it's kind of funny because, you know, we're talking about DC Collectibles here, but he is lacking so badly in articulation. Ooh, big surprise, DC Collectibles. Oh shit. The thing is, let me continue. The thing is, there is a certain level of articulation that you usually get from DC Collectibles. You know what I mean? Like the forward and back moving legs. The especially nowadays, because they made the Arkham City versions of there's an Arkham City version of Batman that has a considerable amount of articulation, you know, and this guy doesn't have shit. Even his arms, it's not just standard DC Collectibles articulation, it's the type of articulation that they gave it that makes the figure suck. Now, I could use other figures to give you an example of what I'm talking about, and I almost want to, just to articulate my point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the first appearance Batgirl, Cassandra Cain Batgirl, as my visual aid for you guys, so you can see what I'm talking about. Now, Cassandra, you'll see her in just a second, is one of those figures that's kind of sculpted in a pose. You know what I'm saying? So you can't really do much with her beyond that pose, right? But so he can move his arms outward like this. They're on ball sockets. She can move her arms outward like this too. You see what I'm saying? Just a little bit. She's stiff though because I never ever play with this figure. I got her purely to stay on my shelf as a you know, kind of just to be there. And not necessarily for me to play with, because I like this figure because she looks like Damian Scott's actual style. I'll bring out the Ed McGuinness one. That's the one I actually play with because she has better range of motion. But here she is with her arms out. Now the thing is, why is it that you know, around his arms are not very restricted as far as sculpt goes? You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of strange to me that with a sculpt like that, he can't really do anything. Her legs, right? She's got the women's legs where there's the V cut. Her legs can go straight out. They can't really go back. But if you couple the straight forward and the straight back, you get a decent amount of range, right? So that's what you get for her. She has no bicep swivel, no thigh swivel, nothing. This guy, his leg can go forward that much. Do you see that shit? It's almost as if I didn't do anything. His knees can bend decent amount, right? 90 degrees. His waist, I think, can turn. Nope, waist can't turn. What the fuck is that about? His elbows bend inward. Both elbows bend inward. And it's not like this is an open hand. This hand is a fist. Closed fist. It's sculpted that way. So he can't hold his sword in that. Okay, he has a removable sword, right? And sheath, which just fell. You can put the sword in the one hand, right? He holds it okay. You know, it's kind of tight. But you can't do anything. He has a twist at his wrist, which is kind of nice. But I mean, it only looks good just standing there. So he's pretty much a staction figure or a statue, you know what I mean? Like, he's not really an action figure. So like when I have him in my Batman displays, it's kind of lame because if I want to make him jump off of the building setup that I have, I can't do that. And now I want to show you what I'm talking about when I say the building. My setup for Batman and company. So as you can see, I've got, you know, a lot of Batman's people up there, except for Cassandra, who's normally right there. But you see the building set up? It's kind of nice, right? So normally I would have Azreal probably where Terry McGinnis is, because Terry McGinnis comes from the future, so I could have him flying around my studio or something. But anyway, you know, say I was just sitting here and I was bored, I would just grab one of them off and be like, then I'd play with them. But I can't do that with Azreal because he's so poorly made that it's not fun to even mess with that figure. You know what I'm saying? It's just not fun at all. So, you know, I say fun factor is one of the most important parts of having an action figure. And if they fail at the fun factor, then they failed at the figure. And Azreal is a complete fucking fail when it comes to, you know, fun factor. Now, as usual, I can give DC Direct or DC Collectibles props for the detailing on this figure, because, I mean, as usual, there's detail all over this guy. I mean, he kind of looks homeless and shit, but, you know, with the makeshift costume, but it's pretty dope still. All the inscription carving going on in his armor. I mean, it's pretty damn well done. I gotta give him props for that. But his lack of articulation and just playability sucks. It makes him so fucking boring to have. He's such a blah character. He's got a really nice head, ball socket joint on his head, which I like. He can emote really well. Just kind of creepy like Deathstroke. You can look up, you can look down, and kind of tilt to the side. It's nice. They did a good job with this shoulder pad too. It's on a joint of its own, like a hinge, so he can get out of the way, but his arms don't do anything. So it's like, why does a figure like this get that joint, but then there's other figures that actually are created to move around and, you know, have posability and have no kind of engineering like that. So, you know, this is kind of a fail to me as far as DC Collectibles go. I mean, if you like your action figures and your statues, then fine, it's cool, whatever. But if you like figures that you can actually pose and do stuff with, this guy kind of sucks. I mean, in the package, right, the little spines on the edge of his gloves, you see there's only one there. Supposed to be 3 of them. Yeah, 3. And they freaking broke. They just fell off as soon as I opened it. And I mean, that's not how it should be. I mean, look at that shit. There are 3 spots where you're supposed to see, and I'm moving close so you can kind of see it, and nothing happened. It's pretty bad. Anyway, unfortunately, I say pass on this guy. He was packaged poorly, no real range of motion, even for a staction figure. Just no fun. You know what I'm saying? He's not a fun figure to play with. I don't know what people were saying in these reviews where they said, oh, he's so badass, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, he looks badass, but all these figures and designs look badass. That was what Arkham City was kind of created for. Now, can I do anything with him? No, I can't. And that's why I say no to this figure. This figure sucks. It's not a good figure. It's not a good it's a good visual representation, but it's not a good it's just not a good action figure. You know what I'm saying? And DC Collectibles does make action figures. They don't necessarily have the kind of posability, or at least they didn't always have the kind of posability that other companies have, but they have posability and they can do so much better than this guy. So I would pass on him. I got him just so I have Azreal in my, some kind of representation of Azreal besides the Azbats costume. Also, this version of Azreal is brown, so it's diversity in my little bat family. So, you know, it was just one of those things where it was like, I could do something with him. Yeah, let me get him. And I picked him up, and I'm kind of like, I should have probably left him. So that's it for him. On to the next one.